Hi everybody. We're sitting here in our backyard today. This is Tammy
And Ron.
from Weinke World Adventures. And today we're going to talk about our top 10 likes and dislikes from our cruise on the Royal Caribbean ship Radiance of the Seas. Okay, our first like is the embarkation and disembarkation on this ship were just super simple, right?
Really easy.
Really easy.
It's small. It's easy to get on there. No problem. Can find it. Really nice.
And it was the port of Tampa. This was our first time going to the port of Tampa, which of course is a much smaller terminal.
Yeah.
And we had no problem finding our way around.
Right.
It was just a piece of cake compared to like
really.
Miami or
Right.
you know. So we really kind of enjoyed that. In fact, we're kind of starting to look at other cruises that might be a possibility in Tampa because it is such an easy port to navigate. And like I said, the embarkation was just easy. It didn't take very long. And same with disembarkation. Even though it was raining, it was super organized and just went really well.
Yeah.
Okay, our second like on the Radiance of the Seas was that the ship was smaller. It was just really easy to navigate and find our way around.
Right.
Coming off bigger ships recently, like we were on the Mardi Gras not that long ago, and then the MSC Seashore, those ships are fun, but they are big.
They're big. A lot of walking.
A lot of walking, and sometimes it's hard to get around to everything in a short amount of time. But this ship was just really easy to find everything, and I felt like everything was just kind of,
In that area. certain areas.
condensed in like one area or two areas, so it wasn't hard to navigate or to try different venues quickly without having to walk all the way across the ship. So
Right.
that was kind of nice. Okay, our third like on this ship was the amount of glass on this ship was just amazing. I read somewhere that half of this ship's exterior is made of glass, which I'm still having a hard time believing, but that's what it said. I think it was on Cruise Critic. And so you can blame them if I'm wrong, but it just seemed like there were windows everywhere where you could look out to the ocean. And we loved the glass elevators.
Yeah. That was kind of cool. Just look on the side of the ship. It goes up and down, and you see the ocean out there, or the sea.
Yeah,
It's really pretty.
it's just beautiful. It was on the outside of the ship, yeah, so
Right.
you could see great scenery and beautiful sunsets and things. So that was really nice to have that amount of glass everywhere. All right, our fourth like on the Radiance of the Seas was the Centrum area. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this later in a different one. But I liked the way they had seating kind of all the way up on every single level of the ship, every deck, looking over the Centrum, right?
Yeah. But it's very pretty. I mean, each deck has got an outlook.
Right. And a lot of them had seating there where you could sit, and there's one deck that has a library and one a card room, kind of a game room area, and then a business area. But all of them overlooked the Centrum, which we thought was really cool. So as you're going up, like the elevators, you can see all these different floors, and it makes it really cool. Okay, our fifth like on the Radiance of the Seas was
The food. Really, really good. Wow, a lot of variety.
Yeah, we were kind of shocked actually. Everyone kept telling us beforehand, oh, you should try the food on Royal Caribbean. You'll be amazed. It's so good. And we're like, can it really be that good? It's that good. It is that good. We're going to talk more about the venues here in a little bit, but we were just really surprised by the quality that was offered on everything. I mean, the buffet, I could have eaten up just the buffet every single meal. It was that good. They always had such a variety, and
Right.
they had like Mexican night and Italian night.
Yeah.
So they were always
Especially
having
the
a variety.
watermelon, muskmelon.
Oh,
The fresh fruit is really fresh.
fruit,
I mean,
right?
it's got that flavor. It's not so blah.
Yeah.
some ships
I
do.
hate
but
to say it, but Carnival's fruit lately has just been awful.
Yeah.
So we're big into fruit. And so the fact that this fruit was just so fresh and juicy was awesome. And then in the main dining room too, we didn't eat in the specialty dining, but we heard good things about it, really good things. But you really don't need to. I felt like the quality and quantity of the food in the main dining room and the buffet alone were just enough for us. But yeah, they had it was just, everything was so good on the menu. It's hard to choose. You know, it wasn't a huge menu each night, but
Yeah.
they had just enough variety where everyone could find something that they liked.
And it's a lot of food. I mean, it's just really hard to choose what you want.
Yeah.
You can't eat everything. What we both do is just take little. If you find something that really you like, go back, get some.
Yeah.
So,
And you know, we try to eat, most of you know that we try to eat plant-based and kind of aim toward like vegetarian, and don't eat a lot of meat. Once in a while we'll have fish, but they have a lot of choices on the menus for those as well, which we were really impressed by, because sometimes that can be hard to find. But a lot of choices, and if you do have dietary restrictions, they're very open to kind of helping you with that if you just let them know ahead of time. So yeah, we were just really impressed. Our sixth like on the Radiance of the Seas was the crew and how friendly they were.
Yep.
I can't
Very
think
helpful.
of anyone we ever ran into that had kind of a scowl or was
they're
moody
fun.
or anything. Everyone had a smile on their face, just really friendly.
And fun.
I think my favorite crew member was the guy as you walk in the buffet area. He was a riot. He was just so much fun, you know, giving you the hand sanitizer. Yeah. And that, you know, that kind of sets the tone for everything. But all the crew members in the buffet were like that, and the dining room, throughout the ship. I can't think of one crew member that wasn't just, you know, helpful and friendly. Always saying hello, and that's kind of nice. You know, when we went on MSC recently, we didn't feel that same
Same atmosphere.
same atmosphere. And you can go watch those videos from the seashore if you want to. But we felt like the Royal, I don't know if it's just all Royal Caribbean or if it was just this ship, but they were really nice and really friendly. Yeah. Some kind of bird up there. But our seventh on the Radiance of the Seas was, again, going back to the buffet. We liked how they served your beverages for you. You know, a lot of times if you've gone on other ships, other buffets, it can be hard to balance everything when you're carrying a tray of food and to have to maneuver over to the machine and fill it up and try to carry everything. Here they had everything just set out on kind of the bar area. You can poured for you with the different choices, and they had many choices too. And you could take it and bring it back to your seat, or if you wanted to sit down, a lot of times they would come and bring it to you. So they'd offer, or refills, they would bring that over for you. So I really liked that. It makes your meal so much nicer when you don't have to make like 2 or 3 trips back, or, you know, when you can just sit there and really enjoy yourself. Okay, our eighth like on the Radiance of the Seas was the aft area outside the buffet. And if you've ever watched any of our other cruise videos, you know that any ship that has that tends to be one of our favorites, because we just love that. When you can look over the aft of the ship and you can see the wake and the sunsets and just sit out there in the shade, you know, it's not super hot or anything, and enjoy your meal.
Especially the ship, you see the propellers and making that long line going in the back.
Right.
That's kind of cool. I always like that.
I do too. Yeah. And the views, and so we really enjoy that. There is a bar out there as well, you know, for people that do want to have a drink. It's a great spot to go kind of out of the mainstream of everything, you know. So
Yeah,
highly
lots of closet.
recommend that area outside the buffet on the aft of the pool. Our ninth like on the Radiance of the Sea ship was the area where the Sher Bar is on deck 6. Now this is a really long spread out area, but we just loved the way it was decorated.
Yep. Just like a sailboat.
Yeah, like a big ship, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
We loved walking through there. And then they have a big bar, but there's also there's 2 specialty restaurants right there as well. Giovanni's Table, which is the Italian restaurant, and also Chop's Grill, which is the steakhouse. And if you continue on down, you come to the Colony Club, and this is kind of a huge area at the very aft of the ship where they offer trivia, different kinds of games in there. We played one day. That was kind of fun.
And then dance floor, maybe one.
There is one, yeah. Nice dance floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if you had more time, it's hard to get around everything. But we didn't do any dancing, but yeah, there's just so much to see there. There's pool tables in that area. So we really thought that area was kind of cool, the way it was designed and laid
Very
out.
pretty.
And a lot of seating room for people to sit and just enjoy the different kinds of music and different things that are going on up there. All right, speaking of music, our 10th like on the Radiance of the Seas was the variety of music that they had. We were really impressed with, like, in the Centrum, every night they had different groups playing different
that was
music.
Really nice.
Just a variety. You'd have reggae, you could have violin music, a lot of violin music.
It was very pretty.
One night they had kind of a rock band, so it just a good variety. And that was just in the Centrum, but they had, in some of the bars too, like we just mentioned, the Sher Bar, they had music there. And if you walk around, they had the Quill and Compass, which is another bar that's really cool, right by the casino. They had some music in there, and then out by the pool, they had, cool kind of music every day, kind of calypso or reggae or variety.
Yeah, I like the music in there. It's very, very, very pretty, relaxing.
Yes, very relaxing. All right, we're not really going to call this number 11 because we want to limit it to 10, but this is just a bonus mention, I guess. Extra point, you could say. We were really happy they had movies on this ship because some of the ships we've been on lately have not had much for movies. And we were movie fans, obviously. Now, there weren't any movies offered in the cabin. I've got to clear that up right away. But if you like movies, they had some on the deck every night, usually, or almost every night out there. And they also have a designated movie theater, which we didn't get to really see because they were remodeling it at the time. But since they were remodeling it, they had them in the main theater. So, and I think they kind of go back and forth on that. But they offer some good movies, and it's just nice, if you're just tired of the commotion, it's just nice to sneak away and watch a movie sometimes. So we were happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the dislikes. Now, I want to preface this by saying that, it's hard for us to look at negatives because we try to be pretty positive people. But, we do notice things from time to time that could be better, could be improved upon. And so that's what this is. I mean, it doesn't mean we didn't like the ship or have a good cruise. We did, right?
Right. We're always being positive about a lot of things.
Yeah. And so this is just little things that we noticed that could be improved upon.
Yep.
So our first dislike was the amount of pushy salespeople on the ship. Every ship, cruise line, and Carnival especially before, which we've sailed the most on, always have people that are upselling, right? They always have things they're trying to push down your throat, basically, like, oh, you better get this, whatever. But I felt like this was the most pushy I've ever seen salespeople, especially the first day when we first got on there. In fact, we could not even walk on the ship. I think the first time setting our feet through the door, there was a woman there ready to talk to us,
Yeah.
trying to upsell us on the specialty restaurants.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pushing about that.
Yeah, and so, and some of the shops were that way too. Like I said, especially the first day. It seemed like that was really their time to try to upsell the specialty restaurants and stuff like that. So we didn't really like that.
No.
No, we want to just be left alone. If there's something we want, if we want the drink package or something, we'll go get the drink package, but we don't. But it just felt like they were being pushy. All right, our second dislike on the Radiance of the Seas was the fact, and you just heard us talk about how we like the buffet and the food, but it is small. I'm not gonna lie. The buffet is small, and they have it set up in these little stations, which I don't know. We kind of like the traditional buffet where you can go down the row and see what's offered.
We always like that way. I think that's how we've been going to ships like that.
Yeah, mainly because I just felt like these little areas just got so crowded and you couldn't get in, and you were always kind of struggling to get in the line, and especially embarkation day. Oh my goodness. It was so busy in there. Everybody brought their luggage with them.
Yeah, and everybody's going up there. Wanted to have something to eat. The problem was that was the only place people can eat. The buffet was open.
Yeah.
So everybody's going out. There's no place to sit. So we've been looking around for about 5 minutes. Finally,
yeah, it was very chaotic. But yeah, just the way they had it set up with the little stations, we weren't really impressed with that, especially with the amount of people in a very small space.
Yep.
Okay, our third dislike, kind of going along with that one, was the hours on the buffet that were offered were kind of limited.
Yeah.
It just, we like to be able to go have like a late night snack sometimes, or
like pizza.
Sometimes we kind of like to hang out in the afternoon and just hang out and have a snack or something. It just seemed like the meal times, obviously were great, but if you wanted to go at an odd time, they weren't open.
Yeah.
So, and I'll post the hours here quick so you can just kind of see what they were. But for people that like that late night snack and stuff, it's not going to happen unless you do room service. Okay, our fourth dislike was that there weren't a lot of free food venues on this ship.
Yeah.
And that's why we're pretty much talking about, just the main dining room.
Yeah.
And there was only one. 2 levels, but only one. And the buffet. There was a little area outside the buffet where you could get hot dogs that was open in the limited hours in the afternoon, and sausages and things. That was really good. And then they also had a little area by the pool, the inside pool.
I can't remember the two names.
I can't think of the name. I'll put it on the bottom here. Anyway, we, again, limited hours there, so they weren't open 24 hours a day or anything. So, but those were the only spots, and those were more for snacks. For meal times, like they didn't have a Guy's Burgers or anything like that, or anything different. It was just, and it's a smaller ship, so you're not going to have as many free food venues. But that was one thing we kind of disliked, because sometimes it's nice to have choices other than the buffet. But because the buffet was so great, it kind of made up for it. Had that been open a little bit more here and there during the day and night,
especially late night,
it would have been okay.
Late at night, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, our fifth dislike on the Radiance of the Seas was the fact that the anytime dining was not really anytime dining.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked about that.
Yeah, we like to be able to just kind of pick and choose, like if we're out at port or something, maybe go a little later or come a little earlier one night or whatever. With this ship, you can't do that. You have to be assigned pretty much a time. So, and if you don't do it right when you get on the ship, you're going to have very few times to pick from. So it took us a while to figure out how to do this. because we tried making reservations in the app and it was just a disaster. So we just physically walked over to the dining room and talked to, they had a maitre d' there at Embarkation Day, and said, hey, can you help us find a time for the anytime dining? And she looked through and found us a time, because the times we were being told were like 8:30 p.m. in the app, and we didn't want to eat that late.
No.
So I think, and she said, well, you have to pick a time and just, you know, kind of stick with it. So we picked 7:30 p.m., which was
Not too bad.
like the only one left that we could pick from. And so that was our time every night. But you're not at the same table every night. So when you get to the dining room, usually they'll have you go in this little room off to the side and wait until they have a table ready for you. And then they'll call you in. And it doesn't take very long, usually
10 minutes.
10 minutes. But, you know, you're not at the same table every night, but you are at the same time every night. So does that make sense? So I like that when you can kind of pick your time and go whenever. But that wasn't how this was. So again, I've said this before in another video, but please, if you want to do the anytime dining, go right away when you get on the ship. Go to the dining room and get assigned a time. Have them help you with it, because it's just easier. And then you'll know for sure which time you're going to go every night. Okay, dislike number 6, I guess, would have to be the cabin. Now this cabin, even though, you know, where it was located on the ship was awesome.
That's a perfect spot.
We loved that spot. It was an interior cabin. We were assigned this cabin, and it couldn't have been a better location.
Yep.
But the cabin itself was getting a little old.
Yeah.
And I felt like the bed was kind of hard myself. And they kind of gave us these foam pillows, which I didn't think were real comfortable. I think you liked them.
I liked them.
You liked them.
They're very comfortable for me.
So I guess it just depends on what kind of pillows you like and everything.
Yeah.
They didn't have a whole lot of choice there. But, and then there was like a chair by the desk. When you sat down on it, the springs were old. It just kind of sank. You know, it's just like,
And we're all... But
you know, they're getting old.
Yep.
Obviously, these cabins. I know they just did a refurbishment after we took our cruise, so you know, maybe some of that stuff has been fixed.
Yeah.
But the refrigerator was one of the older, like icebox styles, so it didn't get very cold.
No.
So that was a frustration. Our faucet in our bathroom never got cold. It was kind of a lukewarm all the time, so it wasn't cold. The shower curtain it was a shower curtain. You know,
Yeah.
It's a small shower, but it didn't have the glass doors or anything. So, you know, it wasn't super nice.
Yeah. But it's a place to sleep.
It was adequate, you know, for a cheap cruise and fine, but it definitely could have some refurbishing done to it. Okay, our 7th dislike on the Radiance of the Seas was the fact that the room only got made up once a day, right?
Yeah.
I think
it's okay.
It's okay.
We're so used to...
We never saw him.
Yeah.
We saw him once, right?
Yeah.
Our steward. And he was showing us how to use kind of an old school magnet to put in a certain spot on the door if we want to do not disturb. But other than that, that was the only time we saw him. I guess we're a little spoiled because
we used to have stewards to clean our rooms twice a day.
Well, and it still happens like on MSC. We just went on 2 MSC cruises, and they had both morning and night.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of cruise lines, like Carnival, has gone to once a day.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual, but we definitely missed that. I mean, you know, it seems like, you know, there's never enough towels. I don't know why, especially when you have 2 people. I mean, if you want to have 2 showers in a day, especially if you go to the beach like we did. When we went to Paradise Beach and you want to take another shower or something, there's never enough towels, right? And you have to reuse the towel, which isn't horrible, but I kind of like to have a fresh towel. So it's just, I don't know, I kind of like that twice a day. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Okay, our 8th dislike on the Radiance of the Seas was the fact that the atrium area, the Centrum as they call it, in the middle of the ship, was pretty small. It was cute.
Yeah.
And I mean, we really loved the way they had it decorated for Valentine's Day and everything.
Very
It was,
pretty.
but
It was small.
it was hard with, you know, if there were a lot of people that wanted to get in there, there just was not enough space. You know, you couldn't go in there and just listen to music unless you got there really early. Or like I said, went to one of those areas up above where you could look down from a different deck. But otherwise, it was really small. So that was a little frustration, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, a smaller ship,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
you're going to deal with those things. Okay, number 9 was the fact that there's just not enough hot tubs. You know, we don't like to go in the hot tub unless we can get in there without fighting people.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting too crowded.
Too crowded. So I thought both pools, even though they both had, I think they both had 2 hot tubs, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
They were always full of people. Now we did notice when we were doing our tour video, when we walked around the ship, when I think it was on Costa Maya Day. Of course, most of the people were off the ship, so there weren't quite as many people in the hot tubs that day. But other days, it was a fight to get in that hot tub, so it's just not enough of them. And the pools themselves were kind of small too.
Yeah,
So,
it was small.
you know.
But again, a small ship.
Yeah.
So.
All right, our 10th and final dislike is the fact that the shows on the ship, the main shows they have in the theater,
Oh, yeah.
were not very good. We were not impressed, right?
No. That wasn't interesting.
No, I don't know. The shows themselves were just kind of boring, I thought. I'm going to be honest. They were kind of boring. And the people singing were not that talented, unfortunately.
No, just some missed notes.
Mediocre at best. You know, again, I've heard horrible things about the MSC ships and how their entertainment's so bad. No, we loved the entertainment on MSC.
MSC, yeah.
So again, I think we're kind of comparing in our minds what we saw on MSC and this ship, and the MSC was way better.
Yeah.
Way better talent, better variety. It was just kind of this main group of singers, primarily. I mean, they did have, like, one night they had a comedian. He was pretty good.
Oh, it was nothing.
Comedian.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
But the singers were not good. I'm just being honest. So I would give them a thumbs down. Oh. Okay, so there you have it, our top 10 list of likes and dislikes from our cruise on the Radiance of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean ship that we took to Mexico, which was Costa Maya and Cozumel, and we had a great cruise, didn't we?
Yeah. 5 days was good. I was like 7 days better.
Yeah, cruise is never long enough,
No,
right? So
right.
we're already planning our next one. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you didn't get to see our other videos on this cruise, find the playlist here and I'll try to link it because there's so much to see about this cruise. And we'd love to share that with you from our 5 days. So thanks again for watching. We really appreciate it. If you're new to our channel, we thank you for watching and please consider subscribing. We'd really appreciate that. And if you could like the video, that'd be awesome too. Thanks so much. Take care and God bless.